bend the steel conduit around the builder's head. He'll pay next week. Welcome to Simplified Sparky Marketing. Naming your business correctly is absolutely vital, and I made this mistake along the way, and I think it's very fitting this week because 3 people have mentioned to me about having the wrong name for their business. One of the people in particular is a member inside Simplified Sparky, and it wasn't until going through one of the early modules that it gets clear on your target market. Do they know what you do? And this is what this podcast is going to be about is it clear to your client when they look at your business name or they see your website or they see your van on the street? Do they know exactly what they do just from first impression? Because you only have a couple of seconds for them to look at your business and say, do you know what I do? And they're going to turn around and they're going to be like, yeah, you're a Sparky. Otherwise, they're going to be scratching their head very, very confused. And a really good test for this, and there's a thing I speak about called the mum test, where you show your website to your mum and you get her to relay exactly what you do. Ask her deeply like what services you provide just by glimpsing at the website, because if you're extremely broad, they're not going to know what you do. The names in question that I've been speaking with people are enterprise, group, solutions, and tech. And there's another one as well. But these, let's say, for instance, I'm just going to put a dog name in front of this, Labrador Tech. And the inspiration for the business name has come because that Sparky loves Labradors and they wanted the business to sound fancy and bigger than it is, so they called it Tech. But now their business is called Labrador Tech. And that's cool. You're into dogs. Or solutions. Solutions is another one. So it might be like Labrador Tech Solutions or Labrador Solutions Group. And it's not clear. You need to have electrician in your title. You need to have either electrical, and I reckon you'll get away with Sparky because it's blatantly obvious here in Australia that a Sparky is an electrician. So I'll give you that one. But I would be saying electrician has to be in your title. Fear not. I'm going to go through this podcast how you do go about that. And I always like to put my hand up of my fuck ups because I think it's valuable where I fucked up. This is what I try to stress to all the people that are following me in my mentorship or listen to the podcast is I have fucked up several times. No fucking coach out there is perfect. Everybody tries to come across as perfect, that they've never made any fuck ups or there's nothing fucking shitty going on behind the scenes. I made that fuck up. I initially titled my name with one name. To where I'm from, it's West Cork. So all one word, it's 2 words in the place. I just squished it into one. And I thought I was fucking the singer Seal, that everybody's going to know who West Cork is. And it's going to be, they can figure out who I am. That was my attitude back in the day of I'm going to be the biggest, best Sparky in this area. And they're going to just figure out who I am. But I've realized that they're not going to figure out who I am because they're not going to take the time of day to look at my business and be like, what the fuck do they do? Hang on, I've got to spare 20 minutes to do some research. That's not the case. It's purely down to you. Make it as easy as fucking possible for them to know your name. And I spoke to a few guys this week, and one guy in particular, the end of his name is Power Solutions. So let's say again, Labrador Power Solutions. And I get it. I would get that. I'm an electrician. I'd be like, Power Solutions. I get it. It's an electrician. But to the untrained mum out there or whoever, even a gatekeeper for a commercial company that's possibly looking at getting a new electrician, they're looking around and they see like something Power Solutions. It's like something to do with power. But if they see Power Solutions versus electrical or electrician, like if you were running solo and your name was Jim Smith, electrician, it's pretty obvious you're an electrician. But this is what I want to get into. Most people think renaming their business is going to cost them money, but you're actually costing yourself money because if people don't know what you do in the first few seconds, milliseconds when they look at your business, it's going to be fucking pointless anyway. Just change those little things in your name. Even little things like you can retain the same logo. You just have to change the wording on the logo. You can keep the same website. You just have to change the header. The domain, you can probably keep the domain. The domain doesn't matter that much. It's little things like visuals where they're going to see it or read it. With the logo, all you have to do is get a graphic designer again. Even AI can probably do this and get your logo remade, renamed. Change the copy on your website so it's very clear that there's electrical instead of group or solutions. Your business cards, your vehicle, your uniforms, stuff like that. You need to change it that it suits your new name. How do you actually go about changing your name if you've done it wrong from the start? It's very, very simple. You don't need a new ABN. You just need to register a new trading name. Firstly, and this is absolutely vital, is go to ASIC and check if that name is already taken. Check Facebook and Instagram, type in that business name and make sure that nobody else has it. Because I know one business in particular, and his name is very similar to my other mate. And there's another electrical business in Queensland that has that name as well. And it gets messy because let's say hypothetically that the company in Queensland does a really bad job. They end up in a current affair or something like that. Your name goes down with them. If you've got a pretty generic name, again, let's go back to Labrador. If you've got a name like Labrador Electrical, there's actually a place in the Gold Coast called Labrador. So there could be a possible business there set up as Labrador Electrical because it's fitting to the area. Double check that there is no other Labrador Electricals out there. Even in different states, it can get messy. You want to make sure that the domain URL, that is available. You want to make sure that your Facebook and Instagram handles are available as well. And if the company is in England or something like that, and you're in Australia, that's not the end of the world. I'd probably still go with it, to be honest. I actually tell you a lie, I fucked up twice. Even this company, Simplified Sparky Marketing, it was called Simplified Trading Marketing up until I decided I wanted to only work with electricians. So I had to go back and register a trading name underneath the ABN, Simplified Tradie. So I actually fucked up twice. And it happens easily. It happens to everybody. So if you have done this, it's not shameful. You just go back and you just fix your fuck up and you just rename your business and just make that small tweak to put electrical in there. The cost with ASIC to register the business name for the year is about $50, so it's not a major cost. Your business name is a marketing tool. It's not just a nice fancy visual on your van or your website. When people see that, they'll know what you do straight away. Simple names are memorable. Confusing names are forgettable. When speaking to one of the guys last week, this is something he mentioned. He wished he went with more of a catchier name that was memorable. And this is your opportunity to do it. I want to set a challenge to you. If you've any inkling that your business may be confusing or misleading people of what you do, I would challenge you on a weekend when you're not dressed as a tradie to go up to a stranger with a bit of paper with your business name written on it. Probably better if your partner does this. And just go up to a stranger, randomer in the pub, wherever, and say, can you tell me what that business does? And just go to the most average looking person in there that isn't a tradie. That's the key, is someone that isn't a tradie. And see, can they tell what your business does in 2 seconds? And then maybe hand them another bit of paper with your new name, i.e. Labrador Electrical. The first one said, a Labrador Tech Group. This is getting confusing with all the dogs. Go change your name. If your name is fucked, it's not a big deal. Change it, change your logos and stuff like that. It might cost you a couple of $100, but think of the money it's going to get you in the long run. And that's what we're all about, is making your business money. If you want any more from me, all the links are in the show notes below. Please tick and review the stars if you get a second. Greatly appreciate it. Really helps the podcast. And I'll chat to you next week.